For the last 12 months, we've been travelling full-time around Australia in our little van. It greatly challenged us in so many ways, but was one of the best, most profound and most impactful years of our lives.
Feels like we're on a...
I think this is it.
Yes!
This is what makes me happy.
We're warming up for our swim. We met so many incredible people, too many to count, and visited some of the most remarkable landscapes our eyes have seen. In a moment, we're going to sit down and share with you some of the things that we've learnt about travel and life in general whilst on this journey.
Look at this.
I'm just embracing it.
Nice!
All of our cars were in the mechanics.
Just dropping down knowing there's a croc in there.
This is amazing.
Oh, idiots.
Someone get this camera away from me.
Well, that was terrible.
Endorphin rush.
Who, me or them?
Them.
Right. What do you reckon we got it? We've got a peppermint tea and a ginger bicky. Feeling a little bit sick, so it's made me feel better. I think it's good to sit down for a minute and just get in the feel of having the camera on.
Yeah, just adjust.
Okay, do you want me to go or do you want to go? So, we firstly want to say thank you so much to everyone for the amazingly nice comments. Yeah, we like just blown away by the amount of effort you guys all put into writing out those comments, just like letting us know what you guys like watching and giving us your feedback. That honestly meant so much to us.
Yeah,
Didn't it?
it was overwhelming actually, and it made our week to see how many of you wrote such well thought out and just beautiful words and amazing feedback, which we've taken all on board, and we're so excited to get filming and get creating with all of your feedback. So thank you. So on our journey around Australia, it took us 12 months and we hardly even scratched the surface of actual places that we saw, but man, we learned a lot.
We did. It was 12 months, and I think compared to other people and other people's adventures, it's not that much, but for us, it was still a big thing. It was like the biggest thing we've ever done, and I guess we learned so much from it.
We wanted to share some of those lessons with you today. So we wrote a list of the 10 lessons that we learnt from 12 months of travel.
We just wrote down heaps of things that we learned, and it ended up being 10.
Perfect number.
10.
We learned that traveling and van life isn't what it looks like on social media, which is, I don't know, I had this idea in my head of what it would look like based on what I saw on Instagram and YouTube, and man, we were in for a shock when we realised it wasn't always the real high highs. It can be lonely and uncomfortable and really hard at times, really challenging. And it isn't always really fast paced, like amazing, really high highs all the time. I guess the start of this video might have looked like as well. So don't be misled or fooled by that. That was literally our highlight reel of our travels. So
that was what I wanted to say as well. Like, I put a bit of time and effort into creating the start of this video because we wanted something to be a short highlight reel of like lots of the best moments from our trip. And I've seen stuff like that before, and you think, wow, that adventure looks incredible, you know. And then when we left, it was like we had this unrealistic expectation in our head that it was going to be so fast paced and incredible all the time, and it wasn't. But it's easy to make it look like it on social media or something like that. So we wanted to say, don't be fooled, and we're trying to keep it real, I guess. Yeah.
stripping back to basics in our tiny little van made us realize that you actually don't need a lot to be happy. Like, you can live super minimally and still feel fulfilled in life, like without all the, you know, a big house and material items. And like, our little setup was so basic, and you know, we didn't have like a really comfortable living space like a lot of big vans that you see, like have got a full kitchen inside and like a sink. We had none of that. But I think for the majority of our trip, we were just stoked anyway. Like, we realized we didn't need all those things to still, have an awesome time.
It makes you realise that you don't need much to be happy, and our world today is full of so many luxuries. Like, we kind of just joked around that everything above what we had was a luxury, like hot water, hot showers, anything like that was a luxury. And it's made us appreciate, especially being back home. We're actually staying at Mum's house at the moment. It's made us appreciate all those things that we didn't have while being in the van as well, just as an extra, like having a shower and a bathroom and being able to jump into bed and get out of bed and go to the toilet without having to climb out the van. But I guess I'm sort of going on a different bit of a tangent, but it made us realise that you still don't need much to be happy. Yeah,
that's what I was gonna add as well. It's fully changed my perspective on living in a house, and just how deeply grateful I am for all of those things now that just seem so simple, like a hot shower, or like sitting on a comfortable couch, like all those,
sitting at a table inside as well,
using a kettle that only takes like 1 minute to boil, like just real simple things. It's fully changed my perspective and just made me so grateful for all of those things that I, and probably most of us, took for granted, like big time.
All right, next one, my one. So it made us realise how important being in nature is for your mental health and for your well-being. Being in amongst the trees, being by the water, just being outside. Like, it's honestly so calming and so nice to be able to wake up in the morning, get out of the van, most of the time when it's not like howling wind, and it's not that, you know, there's a lot of challenges as well, but being able to step outside and just sit by the water with a cup of coffee or sit under the trees and listen to the birds, and it's so calming. Like, it's so amazing. And that's just made us realise that we all need to spend more time outside. We need to get outside amongst the trees more, go down to the beach more, because you really feel, or we definitely feel it, like spending a lot of time closed up in a house inside, it kind of stresses me out.
I think what we learned was how much you learn to just appreciate the small, beautiful moments of joy, that they just come and go. They're so simple, but they're the things that we learnt not to take for granted. Like,
and on that, I guess things that are often overlooked. Our morning consisted of such simple moments: getting outside, having coffee, sitting by the water, and it really made you slow down and appreciate all those little moments. I guess that's what moments that made me feel happy, was just sort of staring at the water, or listening to the birds, or just going for a nice calming walk, just sitting down. Everything's just kind of so peaceful.
Like talking to a really nice stranger that you met that day, or getting to pat a cute dog that you saw on the street, or that first sip of coffee in the morning. Like, all those really simple moments of joy, they're literally like the things that I try and appreciate more in my everyday life.
The next point, it's sort of opened our minds up a little bit to alternative ways of living, and not, I guess, living that conventional conditioned lifestyle that sort of society has brought on. So I've, I guess, thought of alternative ways of life than just getting that 9-to-5 job, working Monday to Friday, and buying a house and having to work so much to pay off the mortgage and things like that, especially at the moment. Really appreciate the fact that there's so many other avenues and so many other ways of life where you can live a lot cheaper.
If that's what fulfills you and that's what makes you happy, then like, good for you, like that's awesome. But we learnt that lifestyle is not for us, and that's okay. And there is other lifestyles that you can choose to pursue, I guess. Like, you don't need to do that that classic 9 to 5, Monday to Friday that society like tells us that that's what we need to do in order to be successful, and like all of those things. Like
Yep.
we learn there's so many other ways to like make money and live, and
Yeah.
yeah,
At
you
the
don't
e-
have to do it.
At the end of the day, as long as you're happy, whatever sort of path or whatever you choose, as long as that makes you happy, then that's all that matters. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Doesn't matter if you've got lots of money or a really good job or a big house or you got none of that or whatever. As long as you're happy, that's all that matters, I think. Yeah. At the end of the day, why else would you be doing anything if it wasn't making you happy?
Yeah, don't live your life for anyone else except for yourself.
Yep. This is going to be interesting trying to cut up, I reckon. Yeah, I guess going on from that one, living on the road for a year has really instilled in me the importance of being grateful for what you have and being grateful for the present moment. I guess everyone does it. I guess you're excited about a moment, or you're excited about something coming up, or you're looking forward to something, and then it happens, and then you're always looking forward to the next thing, or you're not completely satisfied with what you're doing, or looking for the next thing. But it's really, well, I guess especially when we're on the road, we might be at a place, and a certain place, like, it might be nice, but you're excited about the next place, or you're looking forward to the next thing, and you kind of realize you're not being completely present and really enjoying the moment for what it is now, because at the end of the day, life is happening right now.
And that's all you have.
That's all you have, yeah. And it's important to remember that whatever you're doing, it's happening now. Be present. Doesn't matter if it's a transition phase of your life. And that, I guess, has happened a lot for us recently, is different sort of transitions, and it feels like, it's just a temporary thing, or
Just a pause.
just a pause, and we're moving to the next stage. But we tell ourselves that's part of life. Like, if we're not learning to be present and happy, then we're not going to do it ever. Classic example, when we were on the East Coast, I wanted to be in WA, and then sometimes when we're in WA, I wanted to be back on the East Coast. Like, it's just ridiculous, but
It's a good
one
lesson
of the,
learned, though.
yeah, I think that's one of the biggest and most important things that I've learned as well, is just to be happy and grateful for what you have now, because that's all you've got. And
Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
What's next? So this one was a really big one that we both learnt, but myself especially, I'm quite introverted naturally. Like, I don't know, I'm a bit shy until I get to know people well. But when you're traveling in a van, or traveling in general, you're so vulnerable and out of your comfort zone, and it pushes you to just get out there and just go and talk to strangers. Like, go and meet new people, because that's the only way you're going to make friends. And you're not in your comfort zone of your house, and you're not surrounded by your friends group that you've always been friends with, or your family. Like, you don't have any of that. Like, we had each other, but you want to meet other people too.
Yeah.
So I loved that. It really pushed me to just go out and talk to strangers more.
Yeah.
You never know who you're going to meet. We met the biggest bunch of legends, like so many amazing people.
Yep.
And a lot of them are going to be lifelong friends. And just the opportunities that we've had come out of like talking to randoms is life-changing and amazing. So yeah,
it's like I guess, like what we said before, make the effort to talk to more people as well, because you're traveling, they're traveling. Sometimes you might feel shy or nervous to go and approach someone and talk to them, and they 100% feel the exact same as you, probably. Like when we met Kate and Ant, I was real nervous for some reason to go and say hello, and then I just said, how's it going? We should have a beer later or something. Just came out and like, yeah, right. And then they said, if you guys didn't talk to us, we probably wouldn't have said anything. And
because
now
they were
they're
shy
like,
as well.
Yeah.
And Kate and Ant, through our friends that we met in South Australia and travelled all of their peninsula with. If you don't know them from our vids.
And we're going to Tassie with.
And now we're going to Tassie with them.
Yep.
And
it's
they're
really cool.
some of our closest friends. So
I guess let people tell you their story as well.
Yeah.
It's really nice to know.
Yes, exactly. Like, every single person you meet is a teacher to you in some way.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you're going to learn something from them, whether it be through their own experiences. They might be a local telling you about like the best spots to go and see, or like, you just got to be open to that. Got to be open to that communication with people. Like, another great example was when we were in Agnes Water and Mitch randomly started chatting to a guy in the surf. Turned out to be a legend called Joe, and he found us on Instagram and then invited us on a trip to the Keppel Islands for a few days. So,
and that's our video from sort of way back at the start when we were at the Keppels. That's why we went to the Keppels.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have had that if Mitch didn't just start talking to him in the surf. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, it was partly him too. He was really nice.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Oh, well, it was like, he spoke to me. Yeah. So I think that's really cool. Yeah.
This one, I feel like we've spoken about heaps in our videos, is to not have any expectations when you're traveling.
Big one. That was something we learned pretty quickly at the start as well, is like we'd have these crazy expectations of the places that we're going to, and we'd get there and we'd be like let down. We learned to just go, nah, we're just experiencing it for what it is. Don't expect a place to be awesome, and don't expect a place to be shit either. Just
try not to even. It's really hard because I think that's what the human mind does. It like paints this picture of what you're about to encounter, but you've got to try and just not think about it. Try not to look at too many photos on Instagram.
Yeah,
'cause that was a big one. Like, all the popular spots that I'd see on Instagram, I'd be like, oh, wow, that looks amazing, can't wait to go. And then you get there and it looks nothing like the picture. You might have a really bad day in terms of the weather, and you're let down.
Or it might just be an Instagram spot, like
Instagram versus reality.
There's lots of photos of the. Oh, sorry about that. The camera turned off. Not sure why. Stop recording. Which is a bit sad. That's all right.
Looks like it's about to rain. We've got to wrap this up.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. We'll do this one again.
We just said this one, but apparently the camera didn't want to record it. So the best plan to make when you're traveling is no plans. And this might not work for everyone, but it definitely worked for us. In the school holidays, that's probably when you want to plan some accommodation. But in general, try not to have too much of a rigid plan, because there's going to be a lot that goes wrong, and there's going to be a lot that's out of your control, like the weather.
Well, we didn't have much go wrong for us though.
Yeah, but you got to expect that things are going to go wrong and not to plan. Like, say you might have car issues. The weather's going to dictate how long you want to stay in a place. Say you get an injury, like you get stung on the foot by a fish and you have to go to hospital, things like that. They're all out of your control. And sometimes, I guess it really forced us to just let go and just go with the flow and just take every day as it comes and see what happens. Yeah. And it was awesome. I loved succumbing to that. Just fully embracing, letting go. It's such a liberating feeling. Do you want to say this last one?
Yeah, this is something we've spoken about quite a bit, while I guess to other people and things like that. Like, when you're traveling, you feel the full weight of your emotions, I guess. The highs are heightened, and the lows are, I wouldn't say they're lower, but I'd say there's lots of other things that can challenge you and can be difficult, like living in a tiny van and it's howling wind and you're trying to cook outside and there's dust going in your food and stuff like that. Like, those moments are difficult. There is lots of challenges, but there's lots of highs as well. But you're kind of living more, I think. Like, you're sort of understanding yourself more, you're feeling more of your emotions, you're starting to understand those. You feel more alive, I reckon, when you're out challenging yourself, living outside. You just feel more alive. Like, you just feel more...
You're just living up the human experience, like what it truly means to be alive, which is so cool.
Yeah, like going for swims every morning before coffee, and like getting out of the van in the middle of the night to do a wee and just looking at the stars.
You're going to start doing that at home, aren't you?
Yeah,
going outside to wee, look at the stars.
Yeah, maybe. There's a lemon tree just here.
And at home, you've got so many distractions, I think, that sort of divert your true emotions, or like you kind of, yeah, you're
Sort
just
of
distracted from your own emotions and how you really feel. Like, I think, yeah, I guess like when we're away, we developed a lot more self-awareness, which is such an incredible thing to have.
Yeah, definitely. I guess if you're traveling or you're looking at traveling, make the effort to just slow down and really experience what you're doing, and really spend time outside, spend time just pondering, just spend time just, you know, amongst nature, and
Sit with yourself and your emotions. Get off your phone.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But that's it. That's our 10 things.
Yeah, I think there's definitely more, but that's what we wrote down and that's what we're sharing.
Yeah.
Sorry if it's a bit just,
Very long.
yeah, and a bit, we'll try and organise it a bit.
Good on you for making it this far. And thanks if you did.
Thank you.
Hope you learnt something from our
Blabbering.
wisdom.
Oh, yeah, if you want to call it that. I don't know. Don't know. That's what.
Really.
That's what. I guess that's what we're not trying to teach anyone anything. We're sharing what we learnt about ourselves and from our trip. I guess.
From our experiences.
From our experiences, that's what we learned. So some people might disagree. Like, you definitely could disagree with some of those things, and I don't know. We might disagree in the future too. But from what we've learned from that and our experiences, that's what we wanted to share.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right. We'll see you guys soon.
Yes. Thanks for watching.
Bye.